say for example we have some kind of data like this, where we have like names and then we have numbers on the side, and we want to do a chart, right? But not a bar chart. I mean, if we're going to do a bar chart, I mean, the simple thing to do would just be to select this data, go to insert, and then click on bar chart, and then we can do that. Okay, but now we want to do what we call an in-cell bar chart. So we're going to create a bar chart in this cell. How do we do that? We're going to use a particular text function called REPT now. But before we do that, I need to explain what the REPT function does. Now, of course, equals to. Of course, you can start a formula in Excel with plus, but I mean minus if you want the values to be negative. But my recommendation usually is the equals to. Okay, and then we write the rep function REPT, and then we look at the text, the function description. Okay, it says repeats text a given number of times. Okay, so for example, okay, we can in Excel you can represent a text, okay, using, you have to put it in a quotation mark, okay, but now I'm just going to use something that is already in a cell, so more like a cell reference, okay, which is name. Okay, how many times do I want to repeat the names? Because that's the next argument, the number of times you want to repeat. Okay, say 3 times. Okay, so what I expect to see is name, name, name. Exactly. Okay, so what the rep function does is you give it a text and specify the number of times you want to repeat that text, and then of course you have it. Okay, now why is this important and why is this useful? Okay, say the text I want to repeat is an I, and notice I had to put the I in quotation mark because I'm not referencing it from any cell. If I wrote I in a cell, I could just click on the cell reference, but this time I'm not referencing it from any cell, and that's why I had to put it in quotation mark because it's not a number, it's a text. Okay, if it were a number I was going to repeat, I just going to do a quick sample. 8, I'm going to repeat 8 times. Okay, okay, but this is a text function actually, so regardless of whether it's 8 I'm repeating, I need to put it in quotation mark and then 8 times. Okay, so you have this. I can convert this to a number. I mean, it's pretty simple. Add a 0 and you convert it to a number. I mean, yep. Okay, so you see now it's a number. Yeah, I can add 2 to it, like, okay, just simple operation on it, and yeah. Okay, okay, right. I was just showing you something. Now, excuse me, if I did this rept I, because I'll tell you why I is significant on this, and the number of times I want to repeat it. Now, rather than specify it, I could just click on this cell reference. So it's going to repeat it 12 times because this is 12. I mean, the content of C6 is 12. So, okay. So this is 12 I's. Yep. Now, why I? Now, because if you stack I's together, it makes it look as if it's a bar. Yeah. And then it gives you that feel like, okay, you have like some kind of bar chart, and that's the reason why we're using I. Okay, so since we have some understanding of how the rep function works, okay, so we come here and enter our function rept. Okay, already I think this cell is already formatted, so I need to clear that. Okay, yes, exactly. Okay, so we enter the rep function. Okay, what are we trying to repeat? I, like we said, and the number of times should correspond to what is in that cell. Okay, and then we press enter, and then we can send this down. Oh, nice. Okay, and then we can left align it so it looks better. So now every bar here corresponds to, I mean, this corresponds to this corresponds to this. Now, there's another font I discovered. I think it's called, yeah, this is it. It gives you a feel as though it's a real bar. I mean, like, You understand? Looking at it like this, which is really cool if you ask me. And then you can change the font to green. And this is not all you can do. We can concatenate this with the actual number, which is 12. So I mean, you have 12 just beside it, so which is also very cool. So there you go. So this corresponds to this 32, and you can see the magnitude here. And so this is some very good visual that can come in handy to just in the cell. That's why it's called an in cell, because you're not plotting a graph, you're not inserting a graph, or yeah, you're just doing it in the cell. So this is really cool if you ask me. And then now here we have some kind of different data, because we have negative and positive. Now what if we wanted to represent the negative bars with the red color and the positive bars with the green color, and also display it as an incel chart? And of course, since it's negative, it's going to be deviating away, so it's going to be going to the left, and then the positive to the right. How do we do that? Okay, here the only difference is, okay, this is formatted. I need to like apply this formatting back to the two of them. Okay, and yeah, okay. Now how do we do this? Now we first need to write a simple logic if statement. Now if you're not familiar with if statements, I'm going to do a fresh video on the conditional logics: if, not, and, or. And so you understand how the ifs, I mean, depending on your version of Excel, and just to show you how it works. Okay, so when you enter an if statement, okay, the first argument is a logical test. What are you testing for? Okay, so we're saying if this value is less than 0, that means it's negative. Okay, I mean, that's basic. Now what do you want to do? So the value, if this logical test is true. Now if this logical test is true, because on the first bar here we want to display the negative, and on this we want to display the positive values only. So we can apply the rep function. Excuse me. And then, okay, our text is I. Okay, and the number of times we want to repeat it. Now we cannot just select this, because we will get an error if we encounter a negative value. Now the reason is Excel cannot compute a negative number of times, right? It's got to be a positive number. I mean, so because we only want to display negative, we need to put a negative value here. So once the negative multiplies the negative value here, it gives you a positive value. And so Excel can compute that. That's the reason why we have negative only for the numbers that are negative. And that's the value if it is true. And the value if it is false, just display blank. Okay, we press enter. And now for obvious reasons, this displays it blank because this value is greater than 0 and not less than 0. But see what happens when it gets to this, all these values that are less than 0. Okay, so you can see exactly what we're trying to do. Now, because I like this particular font, and I think it displays bars, so I can apply the formatting there. And okay, but because these are negative values and I want it to deviate, so I just need to change the alignment and then change the color to red. How cool is that? Okay, and here what we can simply do is copy this same formula and use. Sometimes I'm kind of lazy, so I really don't want to have to write the same formula. So what I can do is use a mixed reference, yes, and lock the columns only, so we can apply it across the column. Yes. Okay, so I can just copy this formula actually and apply it here. Okay, but I need to tweak it a bit because now we want to display the positive value. So we're saying if this is greater than 0 now. Okay, then apply this rep, and then we can remove this negative because I mean the values are already positive. So enter, and then we can send this down. And the same thing we can do is apply the conditional formatting here, and there you go. We have our in-cell chart, and it's just the way we want it. And of course, okay, I can match this formatting as well. Okay, well, it's already there. So we have the green bars, we have the red bars indicating. So this is 11, and that's why it's positive, and it's on this side. It's 31. So this is just a simple way in which you can represent your data without having to draw or insert a graph or a bar chart or a line chart or something. Thank you.